So actually, this is going to be a plain vanilla, unrandomized version of Zelda. I'm Tetra, and joined on commentary with me is Threach.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at the original Legend of Zelda run for Frost Fatales. I am Threach. I am very excited to see Tetrally begin this run through the first quest of the original game. So get pumped, get ready. Um, Tetra, if you are ready to go, we can get a countdown.
I am ready to go.
All right. Then Lizstar, if you don't mind giving us a countdown from 3.
Sure thing. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is The Legend of Zelda, released, I believe, in 1986, and the category that Tetrally is playing tonight is called Any Percent. So the one you tend to hear about is Any Percent No Up A. So that just means you can't do a soft reset that starts you back either at the beginning of the level or the beginning of the game at the original start location. But this one does. So what you're going to see Tetra do is on the second controller, when you press up and A together on the pause screen, then she's going to be taken back to the beginning of the level, the beginning at the start screen, and she's going to be able to save some time there. Because she'll be able to take an instant death warp. So that's going to save some overworld time and just give her some smaller time saves in levels 1, 3, and 5. So you're not going to have to spend the time after you get the required items within those dungeons. So Tetra's going to head over here immediately to level 2. You can see this can sometimes be taken in the more intermediate routes. So for the marathon safety, we're going to start for level 2 in this intermediate route. And basically go over and pick up the level 2, the white sword, instead of going for just the wooden sword, which is the sword that you start out with. So you'll see Tetra be able to do a little bit more damage once she picks up the white sword as well.
Got some lucky bomb drops there.
Always a good start. Wow, yeah, 2 bomb packs right off the bat in 8, which means she's going to have a good time fighting the Dodongo up here. Might save a little bit of time on the Moldorm that's coming up too in this room. You can throw some bombs down and do quite a bit of damage. So the next room, after we get this Moldorm, which is just a little bit of trouble, their movement is randomized, so it's a little bit difficult to anticipate where exactly they're going to go. But in this room, Tetra is fighting ropes, and ropes are these little snake boys, and they move twice as fast as Link actually walks. So it is faster to just let them run straight at you than it is to go chasing them down. So you can see Tetra, wow, getting a whole load of bomb drops there. Super fortunate, because the only way you can do damage and kill this Dodongo is by throwing a bomb at it first.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good level 2, all things considered. And we'll be coming out and going for the white sword.
Yep. So in order to get the white sword, which again is the first sword upgrade that's available in the game, you do need 5 heart containers. So what Tetra is going to do is run up from level 2 and head up to this screen that we call Monocle Rock, and you'll see why in a minute. If you've played the original game, you know that level 9, spoiler alert, is hidden behind Spectacle Rock. So you see 2 of those, but this screen just has one of those rocks, so we call it Monocle Rock because why not? So we've got 5 hearts, which means we are eligible now to pick up the white sword, which is exactly where Tetra's going to head up here.
And now we're going to try to stay out of the way of Lionel Richie, as we call him up here.
If you've played Breath of the Wild, you know what kind of trouble Lionel's can be for you. Well, this is what they looked like 30 years ago. So that guy, Lionel Richie, does take 2 hearts, or does give 2 hearts of damage every time that he hits you with one of his sword beams. But Tetra got out of there with no problem and decided to up A back to the start. So at this point, Tetra is actually going to head across and get the Coast Heart, which is over on the far eastern side of the screen.
Yep, and you probably saw me doing a screen scroll going from one side to another.
Yep. So that screen scroll is a way of basically tricking the game by producing a one frame input that makes it fail one of the checks that it usually makes in order to determine, whether a screen transition is happening. And so you can basically trick it to make you go from one side of the screen to another. So it takes a little bit of practice, but it is very good at fooling friends and family when you do it. And what's going on here is you see a whole lot of resets happening, and Tetra is going to the next screen immediately left of start to play the money making game. And now this is an
Oh,
additional route.
I just realized I forgot one thing to make sure to have enough rupees to play the darn money-making game. So I'm going to go grind for some more rupees really quickly.
We should be able to get some good drops off these Octoroks, almost up to 10 here to begin with. Nice fairy. Might lose it after, if you need to reset. But games in Hyrule are not cheap, and the old man
Okay.
inside the money-making game cave does, in fact, charge you.
Okay, now I should have enough.
Yep, excellent. So
What I'm actually trying to do is manipulate the RNG on it by timing exactly how I'm walking over to the cave here.
Yep. So through, the magic of early console resetting, I don't know. Tetra swears to me there's a method here, but I'm not convinced. She's going to manipulate the money-making game so that she can get two 50 rupee wins right in a row. There we go. There's some success. So we've got the money that we need to continue on with the game. So the next step is everyone's favorite level. We're heading to level 3. So in level 3, we're going to see Dark Nuts. We're going to see Zols, which aren't going to be too much of a problem now that we've got the White Sword. But the Dark Nuts are going to give us a higher bomb drop chance, but they are a little bit difficult. So Tetra, of course, no problem with combat here. She's a pro. But in a casual game, Dark Nuts are just, forget about it. So, in order to actually damage Dark Nuts with a bomb, you need to bomb in the direction that they're facing. Because if you try to place a bomb and it hits their shield, it's not going to do anything. They're going to be knocked back. They're not going to do any damage. So you have to be very careful about bombing them whenever you do. Tetra is taking what we call the top route, which is a little bit slower than the bottom route, but when you can use the top route and then use the up A, like she's able to do within this category, it saves a little bit of time comparing to getting a key and then walking through the bottom route, which tends to be the more popular no up A category speedrun route.
Now, the downside of it is I'm going to have a little bit of a trickier fight with Manhandla coming up, who is a very RNG-dependent boss and has been the source of many a reset. So get your plus RNGs out in chat. We'll all need them.
Please, please, please. Absolutely. Manhandla, if you have played the game in any sort of competitive capacity, you know how dangerous Manhandla can be. So we want good RNG here. You see Tetra, wow, holy moly, just got two bomb drops and then the static pack that sits there on the floor after you've destroyed the Dark Nuts in that room.
Yeah, one of those was actually forced, and we'll talk about forcing bombs in level 4. But let's see how much Manhandla cooperates.
All right, where are you? Where are you, friend? Oh, over all the way on the right.
Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Took a couple bombs there, but eventually came through.
Yep. And with the bomb drop, picks up the heart. And there is level 3. Now, Tetra talked about forcing a bomb. So in this game, I believe it's in level 6, there is an old man hiding out in one of the dungeons. And what do old men in dungeons love to give except advice? So this one guy is standing in there. And when you get into his room, he says, 10th enemy has the bomb. And those of us who were children when we played this game said, what on earth does that mean? It turns out people figured it out. And what it means is that when you kill 9 enemies without being hit, 9 enemies in a row, and then you bomb the 10th one, that enemy is going to give you a bomb drop. So basically you're forcing a bomb drop. And Tetra's in a very good situation to go into 4 here. It's very important to have at least one bomb and preferably several, because you can only get bomb drops in level 4 if you basically kill a Vire, which are these blue guys jumping around. Either kill them outright or force a bomb on them. So you have to kill them all in one shot. It doesn't work with the sword, but it does work if you use a bomb. So there's Tetra forcing a bomb there on the Zol.
And if you kill the last one with, rupees instead of, or I'm sorry, with your sword instead of a bomb, you actually can get a rupee drop instead. And I think that's what I'm probably going to do here, just in the interest of having enough money. Or actually, I might have counted wrong, so never mind.
That's okay. We got plenty
What's my
of
count again?
That's a great question. You know what? It is so easy to lose track of the count in this game. There are definitely helpful applications out there that are intended for bomb counts during casual runs. But what Tetra just did there was got intentionally hit by that bubble, and that bubble is actually going to reset the counter so that you can force bomb drops, or at least know where your count is as you're progressing through the level. So there's another bot from the Keys. These bats flying around right here. So she's going to continue on through the level, knowing what her count is right now.
Yep, I believe it's 3 now, so let me see if I can rack it up a little bit higher.
Yep. So we're about to see some cool tech right here. Tetra is going to place a bomb and then do what's called a ladder clip. Now you can't see it in this room, but Tetra perfectly on the first try got a ladder clip across a 2-block of water. You're not supposed to be able to do that. But again, the same thing with the screen scroll. You can trick the game into thinking that it's done a check it hasn't done. And you can actually make it so that you can clip across the water, basically allowing you to do something that you're not supposed to be able to do. So this guy right here is Gleok, and he's more or less the gatekeeper of runs where you go to 3 first. Because he takes 16 sword hits to take down. Now, Tetra obviously just was a master at this and took Gleok down with no problem. But when you run 2 first, you have the white sword, so it only takes 8 hits, and you can usually body it pretty well because Gleok is only going to do about a heart of damage with those fireballs.
So now we're going to go over to level 1, and I intentionally reset my console. What that does is actually clears some counters, including the counter that affects where enemies spawn on the screen, so that way I can get a more favorable pattern in level 1.
Yep, and
oh, actually, let me go back to the overworld for a sec. Now I want to be in level 1. Oh, look at that. The key door is open. I wonder why that happened.
My goodness, how could this be? So there's a trick here at the beginning of level 1, where if you are actually at the beginning of any level, where if you are facing a door that should be open across from you, if you exit and then re-enter, that door will open for you. You can save yourself a key, and it is a huge time save strat and key save strat in this game. So if you're running this even casually, that is probably the easiest trick to do. I think that the devs of the game even told people about it after it was released in the 80s. So pretty good thing to have under your belt there.
All right. I'm also going to be doing a block clip through this block here in order to be able to get through that without having to actually push it, and pick up the bow here. So as I go through the rest of level 1 and over to level 5, now would be a great time for donations.
Sure thing. We have $3 from Demarine. I heard the first Zelda is good. I heard the third Final Fantasy is also good. Let's do this. Thank you for your donation. We also have $10 from Sinistral. Had to donate to support one of my favorite streamers. Good luck, Tetra.
Thanks so much, Simstrel.
All right, so Tetra is proceeding through the end of level 1, and so you saw her up A at the bow. Again, that's that soft reset. She's gonna go over here and fight one of my favorite bosses of the game, Aquamentus, who is just so comically easy to take out with the white sword. The hitbox on Aquamentus is right on the head, so you can actually just sort of like step, and he's done. So that up A at the bow actually saves quite a bit of time and a key. So Tetra's was able to avoid using a key that she didn't need to use. And right now, it looks like we're going to take the long walk over from level 1 to level 5. So I think we are ready. If you have more donations, it'd be a good time for it.
Sure thing. We have $50 from Smorg. This is my favorite fund so far. Go Malala. Go girls. Hey Threach. Threach, you're on my TV.
Thanks, Smorg.
We also have $100 from Friend Weeb. I just started speedrunning Z1 this year, and the community has been amazing. Love watching runs of one of my favorite NES games.
All right, so I think my count is about 4 or 5-ish.
I think we're right on the money there. Yep. And you just saw a screen scroll over to level 5. Can you clip through a wall in this game? Apparently, yes, you can. The whole way over to clipping through a mountain. It really escalated quickly. So level 5 is one of the 2 levels in this game where you really want to go in with as many bombs as possible. So level 5 is full of combat that is made much easier when you have bombs. Now, we talked about the block clip very briefly earlier. This is maybe one of the most important ones in the game. You don't have to fight any of those blue dark nuts. So we saw the red dark nuts earlier in level 3. The blue dark nuts have twice as much HP, and they are nasty. Agree with chat there. Walls are more like suggestions. Depending on the walls, that is absolutely true. So if you watch a little bit of this bomb technique here, you can see Tetra bombing away from where the dark nuts are facing, which means that they are going to be able to take damage from them. So you can see her take out 2 of those cleanly. Really excellent bomb placement here. And with the white sword, those blue dark nuts only take 4 slashes instead of the full 8 that they would take with the wooden sword. So really nice recorder room there. Walking down in here to get the the recorder that is just sitting here in this dungeon. And Tetra's going to up A back to the beginning of level 5. That's a really, really tough room to get through. It's another run killer. It's pretty notorious. So as we're walking back through the back half of 5, this would be another good time for donations.
Sure thing. We have $25 from Cubby T that says, Go Tetra! And I agree. Go Tetra.
Thanks, Cubby.
$15 from Raining Mochi. Love this Legend of Zelda block. Thanks to all the runners and volunteers. Can I get in one more?
Absolutely.
We have $50 from Meg Macattack. Go Tetra! Fight all the Lionels! Don't forget to think about Tony. Let's get some extra 2DX time so Sparko can play my favorite song.
Tony is Meg's nickname for the red candle, which we will be getting very shortly in level 7. And not that I ever lost a run from forgetting the red candle, ever.
That would never happen.
No, never, ever.
See, just one thing, these little bouncy cat rabbit boys there are called Pole's voices. And in the Japanese release of this game, you actually can kill them by blowing into the controller, which has a built-in microphone. In the US release, no such luck. So their weakness in this game is actually arrows.
All right, so now that we have the recorder, we can do a little bit of fast traveling. So what better to do after you're done with the tough level 5 than to go shopping?
You know where we should go, Tetra? We should go to the West Lake Mall.
Why do we call it the Westlake Mall, Threach?
Because it's west of the lake, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
So, we're going to be over on the west side of this large lake here, and it's got a few stores here where we are going to pick up some necessary items to finish the game. We're going to be looking for the arrows, the wooden arrows here, in order to kill Goma, which is it's a spider or a crab spider or something with a big old eye, and you have to shoot it with an arrow in order to kill it. And we're also going to pick up the bait here, and that's this guy on the right that kind of looks like a wrapped candy, but also I guess is a piece of meat.
Yeah, and since I only have 4 bombs, I'm actually going to do an impulse buy of another pack of bombs. You definitely want to have as close to full bombs as possible going into level 7. You really need as many of them, and you'll see for why when we go in there.
All right, so level 7 is a few screens west of where we're heading now. There's not a lot of combat in 7, but it's definitely going to test anyone's ability to dodge enemies and avoid taking damage. So Tetra's sitting at a cool 10 hearts right now and has the green tunic, which means that she's taking the full amount of damage. As you progress through the game in a casual run, or depending on the speedrun strat you're using, you can also pick up the blue or the red ring, which gives you increased defense. But Tetra, again, is a pro, is taking the green tunic and scooting through this game. So those Gorilla boomerangs, those guys throwing the little bananas around, those are called Gorillas, and they are going to do 1 heart of damage with each boomerang hit. So you want to be careful and avoid them. Tetra got a really clean river room there, and is just going to say nope to this Dig Dogger.
Nope. Now we're coming to the hungry gorilla.
You know what? I've heard this gorilla is pretty picky. And you give it meat. I think it's a vegetarian. It does not like that meat. And I'm pretty sure, a wise lady once told me the reason that gorilla says grumble, grumble is because you offered it meat and that is rude.
I totally agree. At least that's what it is in my headcanon. So here we're going to pick up the red candle by doing another nice block clip. I call it on my splits the spawn messer upper. And the reason why is that going into this cave actually changes where enemies spawn and gives you a much more difficult pattern later with the wall master room, where I have to be very careful because that's another run killer potential. Oops. Yeah, those boomerangs just really add up here.
Yeah, over time, they're pretty nasty. Now we're gonna see this Dig Dogger. Tetra's going to place a bomb, blow the recorder, which will split up the Dig Dogger. The bomb will do damage, and then she's gonna switch back to the bombs and do another hit on the Dig Dogger. So it's a really easy, quick speed strat to take it down. And then we are gonna basically progress through the rest of level 7 here. Now this is the reverse C room. Boy, oh boy, this is a nasty room, even casually. These wall masters, which are these hands here, were personally the bane of my childhood gaming existence. But if you get hit with one of those guys, they are going to take you the whole way back to the beginning of the level. And no matter how many times you press up A in this game, that is not one of the times you want to return to the front. So
Ooh, that was a really opportune time for a bomb drop here, because you also need bombs going into level 6.
Yep, excellent. So this is going to save Tetra some time. Hey, Aquamentus.
Hi, Aquamentus.
So Tetra's going to need to dig a little bit less in level 6 for bombs, which is super fortunate at this point. You could go into level 6 with 1 bomb or 0 bombs, and you're just sort of hoping and praying at that point that something positive drops. And so Tetra is going to head to level 6, which is in the graveyard, which is in the northwestern side of the map.
Well, we're going to take a little bit of a detour and go all the way around the world here.
So you remember how we talked about clipping into a mountain? What if we clip into a bush into the ocean? What do you guys think about that? Because we just did it. Excellent, crisp screen scrolls. Holy moly. So the game actually numbers the screens on the overworld, starting basically from the top right. It works east and then starts going down. So when you go to the left side of a screen, or go to the left from a screen all the way on the west side, the game basically just says, we're going to move your screen number down by 1. And now that screen is going to be on the eastern side of the map. So in addition to that world wrap, which is the trick that she just did, we're going to see this trick here called the Rue Quarter. So the Rue Quarter says I'm transitioning to the right because I'm whistling, and I'm moving up because I'm on the raft. What you do is you clip into the ocean, as one does, you blow the whistle, and it takes you 1 screen west and 1 screen north of level 7, which puts you in the graveyard. And what Tetra just did is picked up the magical sword.
Yep.
So that's a shout out there to Roo Slugs who actually discovered that trick because, if there's one thing that people love to do, it is break this game.
Okay, now we're going to be going through Uncle Wizzy's house, as I like to call it.
So, and there is an excellent bomb drop there too. So normally if you come in here and you're low on bombs, that's where you're kind of hoping one of those red Wizrobes is merciful and drops a bomb for you. Wizrobes they come in two variants. They come in red Wizrobe style and blue Wizrobe style. Both of them are rude. And the red Wizrobes do 4 hearts of damage every time you get hit with one of their red beams. They are thankfully pretty easy to kill with the magical sword. They just take 1 direct hit. The blue guys, a little bit less friendly there. They do 2 hearts of damage if you get hit by one. And you need to be really, really careful, especially on Green Tunic, because if you take too many hits there, it's not a good time. So we want to get bomb drops here from the red Wizrobes and the Vires, which basically wants to set us up for 8 bombs going into level 8.
Yep. You also might see the screen stutter a little bit. That's intentional, using pause strats in order to get a better handle and read on the group. Oh, and a lucky clock there.
That is just about the best thing you can find in this room. We call this the magical breakfast room because it's got pancakes, it's got eggs, which are those bubbles, it's got Wizrobes, which are magic. So who doesn't want a magical breakfast?
And I just realized I think I have an extra key, so we're just going to skip the key right here. And take a little path through this room to avoid the Wizrobes. And then here's our crab or spider boss. What did we decide, Threach?
Goma. We're just Goma is a category of its own. So
Yeah.
Hey Goma. Bye Goma.
What did I call it?
I don't know.
It's not important.
So after this level, Tetra is going to whistle up twice and then head over to level 2. So the recorder, the breadstick in this game, the whistle, takes us to dungeons that we've grabbed the Triforce piece out of. So you're looking ultimately for 8 pieces of Triforce to get into level 9, which is the last dungeon at Spectacle Rock, Death Mountain, etc., etc. You guys all know the game. And so from here, it might be a good time just for one quick donation.
Sure thing. I got a super quick donation, $20 from the Fire Within that says, "Hi, Mom." Hi. I'm not your mom, but hi.
Shout outs to Mom.
Shout outs to Mom.
So the only reason, so you notice that Tetra picked up the red candle. The only reason to get it in this game is because we need one to enter level 8. So Tetra is in the first of the Blue Lagoons. It is called the Blue Lagoon because when you see those beamoses, which are the guys in the corners, shooting out beams, they make it move very slowly. So everything's kind of like getting stuck in a lagoon or a swamp, but it just sounds a little bit better as Blue Lagoon. So when you're fighting in these rooms in general, what you're looking to do is if you must take damage, and you're gonna take damage, then it's better to take a hit from the Beamoses and get a few iframes than it is to get hit by the blue dark nuts, because it's half a heart of damage compared to 2 hearts of damage. So the math kind of speaks for itself.
Those were some nice fairy drops that saved my rear end.
Yeah, that is a really tough room to play casually and especially in a speed run. But yeah, those fairy drops were super fortunate.
Yep.
So generally, you see Tetras up there at 7 bombs. That's a great count, especially heading into level 9. You need one there in order to get to the fast room to get to the 4-headed Gleeok up here. And it's basically the same fight, except now with 4 heads.
All right, so that's the 8 pieces of the Triforce.
All right, so now we are ready for level 9. There's an option at this point, I guess, to pick up an extra potion. We'll see, if Tetra takes that or takes the heart. And we've got quite a long walk up to level 9 from where we're going to whistle to level 1 so we can get a few more donations in.
Sure thing. We have $25 from Calth Zero. Had to donate again for this awesome Legend of Zelda run. Both the player and commentator are crushing it. Here's to more bomb drops. And we have $10 from Burks89. Wow, great gameplay, Tetra, and amazing commentary, Threach. We have $25 from the legendary Frog6 from our previous run, who just says, ribbit.
Frog6 is back again.
All right, thanks everyone for the donations.
Now, we saw Monocle Rock earlier, and as I mentioned, it was just one glass, I suppose. And here we've got Spectacle Rock. So bombing into Spectacle Rock allows you to enter level 9. You basically get to this second room here, and there's an old man who tells you, forget it, and kicks you out unless you have all 8 pieces of Triforce. Now, Tetra does, because she knows what she's doing. So we're going to just mosey on into level 9 and continue with some of the hardest combat in the game, but definitely at this point, visually fantastic, opportunities to really show off what this game is about.
Hey, out of my way.
The likes here, they don't really drop anything. They don't serve any purpose except to be incredibly annoying.
All right, let's see if the Patra here cooperates. Nice.
So Tetra just got a frame perfect, just fantastic dodge of the Patra there. So you can kill that Patra 1 there if you need more bombs, but we're in good shape as far as that's concerned. So Tetra just skipped all of the loading that Patra took in order to load its little bees or whatever that's around it. So you can avoid taking damage from it entirely by just walking through it at the right time.
Now, if I remembered what my count was, I could force a bomb there, but since I didn't, I'm just going to keep on moseying through.
Yeah, better to stick with the bombs that you have generally in speed runs than to hope for the bombs that you might get.
And Patra 2, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be cooperating, so I think I'm just going to sort it down right now. This will help me conserve my health later as well.
Yep. And these, there are 2 variants of Patra. One is the expanding one, that basically the little dudes surrounding it will go in and out, and this one is just a continuous circular, constant diameter Patra.
Okay.
All right. So we're coming up to the reverse C room. Now this room is notorious for good reason. Basically, it's full of whiz robes. It's full of those bubbles, which will take your sword away if you get hit by them. So you're going to be super careful every time you run into this room. But Tetra takes him down with no problems there, does a fantastic job, and is about to go in here and get the silver arrows. The silver arrows are needed in order to defeat Ganon. You do the sword slashes at Ganon, and then you got to finish him off with the silver arrows, which we'll see before the end of the game. So that's why it's necessary to come up here into this room and get them.
I had a little bit of trouble with the reverse clip there, but what I'm going to do is try to potion up and then do a forward clip if I can manage it.
Yep, so the reverse clip after you get the silver arrows, it's not really as hard as it looks generally, but you really have to move quickly on it.
Yeah, and even if you get it, the wizards can be incredibly rude and just kick you right out of there. So leave it up to the wizards to be just the rudest enemies in the game.
I feel like they just want you to have a bad time. Yeah, wizrobes can phase through the blocks here. They're just nasty guys in this.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about them too much. I mean, they're just going through a phase and all.
All right, I'll allow it.
Okay, gonna have to be careful with my health here. fact, I'm just going to take my other potion right here and hopefully get these wizards without too much more trouble.
Yep. And it's good to keep your bomb count. It's incredibly important in the second half of this game, especially to know what your bomb count is. Oh, there's the clock right at the end, of course, when it's least helpful.
Last enemy has the clock.
Exactly. You need a bomb to get into that Wizrobe room that Tetra was just in, and if you don't have one, you have to go through a one-way door, and then you basically, or sorry, it's for this room you have to bomb into the one-way door, and if you don't have it, then you have to start the entire level 9 all over again. So Tetra's going to do one last block clip here into this final staircase. And at the end, we're going to see this Patra 3, this guy, just hanging out.
All right, folks, so here coming up is Ganon, and time will be when I am standing next to Princess Zelda in the next room.
All right, everyone get that hype in chat for the final Ganon fight.
That was cutting it a little bit closer than I would have cared for, but needed.
All right, and after picking up the last Triforce, Tetra has absolutely crushed The Legend of Zelda First Quest. GG, fantastic run.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And thank you so much again, for Threach, for the commentary. And want to give a shout out to everyone in the Z1 community who's helped me become better at this game over the years. There's a lot of really friendly folks in there, and you folks should definitely check them out if you're interested in running Zelda 1.
My gosh, absolutely. Tetra, what a wonderful run. Thanks again for having me on commentary tonight. Everyone, be sure to check out Tetra's run tomorrow of Second Quest, which is like this, except it's Second Quest. So, more Zelda 1 action tomorrow. Definitely thanks everyone in Twitch chat for joining us. Thanks all for your generous donations. And also, absolutely shout out to the Z1 community. If you want to join the Discord, if you want to hang out with us, we're super cool. Everyone's super cool. We'd love to have you. Please come join us and play the game.
Yep, so stay tuned. If you like The Legend of Zelda, you're about to see it totally randomized, so stick around for that.
All right, friends, again, give it up to Tetra for that incredible run. Sorry, earlier I got a little confused thinking that that was be the randomizer, but no, our next run is the Zelda randomizer. So stay tuned for that, very interesting. I am going to probably go to bed. This was my last hosting shift for today, but I'll be back tomorrow, and who knows when else. So I want to thank you all so much for your donations and all of your love. I will read one more donation before we move over to a Malala ad. What's a good one that we had here? Oh, here's a nice one. $10 from Mumbles89. Thank you for the relaxing week of GDQ. Shoutouts to my husband working hard this month. I love you. Oh, now that's sweet. Thank you for that, and thank you everyone, and I will see you soon for Zelda Randomizer.
All right, we've got a $25 donation from Metatorius, who says, I'm so happy we get a full week of speedrunning. In fact, we need more speedrunning. Put my money for the Oblivion bonus run. And we're going to go to a Twitch ad real fast. See you all in a minute.